You read that headline correctly. Beleaguered Bud Light cheaper than water at some U.S. retailers. What is actually going on out there? Happy Independence Day to everybody, and hopefully that you're, well, to be fair, drinking water instead of this degenerate stuff. But what are they talking about here? That's hilarious. Bud Light sales have plummeted so far that it's selling for less than water in some stores. The former #1 beer brand in the United States, right? Shout out Modelo, of course, is down almost 50%. And its sales numbers from 1 year ago in the aftermath of its catastrophic partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. It's just not moving like it used to. Andy Wagner, manager of Glenn Miller's Beer and Soda Warehouse in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, told the New York Times. At this point, it's cheaper than some of the cases of the water we're selling in the back. Hey, would you like to, buy some water? Because we're kind of low on profits right now. Hey, I'll give you a good deal if you take 6 cases of Bud Light because we need the space because, at least something's moving. Help me, please. Bud Light's latest gimmick was to introduce a new rebate. Well, it's just running back the old rebate that sort of worked for Memorial Day and repurposing it for Independence Day. Close enough, right? We like troops and the American soldiers, right? Come on. Holiday and available to use until Saturday. Oh, so they're just running it all the way back through next week in order to just try to artificially pump up the numbers for at least the next 2 weeks. See, guys, you got boycott fatigue and everything's fine, right? Everything's fine. It essentially gives potential customers free beer, as some areas in the United States are selling Anheuser Busch products for less than $15. The amount of the rebate. I've seen long-time Bud Light customers trying other beers, Wagner said. They find something they like, they may not come back, especially if it's at a similar price point and they have the opportunity to take at least the popular stance out there to just look at Bud Light and go, ew, gross, tranny fluid. It's funny, it's sticking, and Bud Light ain't getting out of this anytime soon, regardless of the different tactics that they take. But yeah, Bud Light sales suffered before 4th of July, so hopefully that rebate scheme might end up working or something like that. Ending in the week of June 24th, the beer brand's sales revenue in dollar income was 27.9% lower than the same week about a year ago. So basically, round up, just a little bit of a rounding error. It's kind of like when the United States government wants to send aid over to Ukraine. It's just, that's $6.8 billion. Just a simple rounding error. So I think we can probably at least bump that up a little bit. According to, the data provided from the same places that we've been looking at over the past little while. Meanwhile, at sales volume, the number of units of beer sold was at 31.3% lower than the same week in 2022, the largest recorded disparity since the company faced calls for a boycott over its partnership. Yeesh. The latest figures suggest that after a sharp decline in sales at the outset of the controversy, Bud Light has seen consistently lower sales compared to how it fared last year. In May, Modelo Especial overtook it as America's top-selling beer. Yes, they took our beer. And what's Bud Light trying to do in order to combat any of that stuff? Well, they're going to Fox News, who is all the more willing to just go ahead and open up their hands and say, geez, we'll go ahead and, we'll put you on the air and we'll go ahead and push you as the sensible alternative because we aren't like those dastardly leftists, so we don't contribute to cancel culture, not understanding anything that's out there. And if you just go anti-woke socialism, Marxism, just fill up the bingo card that's out there, okay? You just try to appeal to the boomers that don't quite get, why is that nice lady was just trying to sell some Bud Light on the TikToks, and I don't see anything that's wrong with it. What's Laura Ingraham talking about? That's the base that they're trying to appeal to right now. It's so funny, right? Because Alyssa Heinerschneid, her entire idea, remember the ousted VP of marketing, she wanted to make it a younger, more appealing brand, right? Wanted to get rid of all of that outdated humor, which is kind of hilarious given how many belly laughs that we've had over the past little while. And then also, get out of that whole fratty mindset that Bud Light used to have. So what are they trying to do? Go market to the only place it has an older demographic than the average age of a Joe Biden voter. Fox News segment promotes Bud Light. Easy way to say I love my country. Yep, just go ahead and try to wrap yourselves in the American flag and everybody will just go ahead and forget that you were down there shitting all over your customers. Fox and Friends Steve Doocy on Monday interviewed Folds of Honor CEO Dan Rooney about his organization, which helps provide scholarships for veterans. See, you can't criticize them now. It's like whenever you're in a debate with somebody and then all of a sudden they bring up some sob story. Well, yeah, my dad has cancer. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Still have terrible ideas. The interview, however, at times turned into a promotion for Bud Light. Oh, of course, man. And they were more than willing to just go, yes, it's been long enough. You guys have proven, in fact, and you tried multiple times to just go ahead and apologize to anybody that you might have offended. And we over here at the morally correct network, oh, we wouldn't dare turn our backs on veterans. See, if you don't buy Bud Light, you hate America, says the exact same network that continued to push the war on terror and the war in Iraq. Anyways, so Dan, as people look in on this 4th of July weekend, how can they help you help other families like the Katzenbergs? Of course they're stumping. Doocy asked at one point, noting his organization's charitable work. Rooney replied, well, you know, people don't realize that Folds of Honor started above our garage. Oh, see, it's just a little mom and pop organization. You know, my wife and I it's just very analogous to your guys' best friend, Ron DeSantis, and his beautiful wife, who definitely doesn't give off Hillary Clinton vibes. And I, with a career, was an F-16 fighter pilot. See, I was in the military, and 13 years ago I reached out to this company, Anheuser Busch, and they said, hey, we believe in you, just like they believe a woman is whoever identifies as a woman. And in its core, Folds is about believing in people, good people, like the people watching this program right now. Here, have a Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and you can just hear the bald eagles over my head screaming where there's fighter jets over the top, just dropping the American flag. Don't pay attention to any of the previous marketing over the past few months. So they believe in themselves, after believing in people, of course, and Anheuser Busch did that for me. And we kicked off a 13 years of partnership with them. They've donated $22 million. How much money have they donated to Fox News? That's just what I want to know in order to get this spot. I would imagine advertising isn't all that inexpensive. We've got an awesome new product here coming out so people literally can crack a cold Budweiser, Bud Light, and celebrate their freedoms, but also provide educational scholarships to the military and first responder families who have sacrificed so much for the freedoms that we enjoy. Hey, you're anti-American if you don't drink this corporate product. That's a great, easy way to say I love my country is to crack a cold Budweiser and support a military of first responder families. Exactly. And speaking of the first responders, they normally have to go treat the likes of Dylan Mulvaney. You know, 43% of the time, at least, they got to go respond to some dire situations, which is what Joe Rogan. Okay, listen, if I'm going to go ahead and lambaste Anheuser Busch for just having terrible takes that they just don't walk back, regardless of how stupid that they ultimately are, got to give Joe Rogan a little bit of credit on this one, even though the first time that it came out, it's like, duh, this boycott's not going to work. Let me just drink a Bud Light right on my program. Everybody's like, you're kind of a dork. And then a couple of weeks later, he's like, no, hey guys, we don't like this woke stuff, right? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Somebody who used to have a lot of influence, cashed out, went onto a solitary platform that's not growing, thanks to your presence that's out there. You're just kind of existing in the ether, and the only time that you can get attention is if you make outlandish claims like that. Somebody in the media picks it up, and then they remember, oh, right, you used to be like super popular on YouTube. Anyways, Joe Rogan slams mentally ill Dylan Mulvaney after trans influencer spoke out on Bud Light fiasco. So yeah, outside of what? Horse dewormer, having RFK on, and Bud Light a couple of different times, Joe's been awfully quiet. And Joe doesn't even get the little moron Joe Rogan thing. It's just all about Dylan Mulvaney, which kind of just goes to show you who's more popping in the analytics right now. Ugh. Joe Rogan once again took a shot at Dylan Mulvaney, calling the trans influencer mentally ill and an attention whore. Oh my god. But come on, Joe. You got to be fair on this one. I was trying to give you props by, correcting your stance and showing a consistent effort in order to, right your wrongs. But men can't be hoes. They can't be whores. They're the hoe and the whore makers. And after a social media star broke her silence about the Bud Light boycott, Rogan made the comment during Thursday's episode where Ice Cube was on. That's kind of what I was more interested in, because he said he was going to go on that the Fuck the Establishment podcast tour. And so far, I've only seen him on Establishment podcasts, so it's like, oh my God. I love Cube. Great music, great legacy. So far, I've seen you on, Rogan, Bill Maher, and then there was one other Stooge podcast I can't quite think of it. 2.5 hour long conversation, that's it, between Rogan and Ice Cube. Eventually touched on the Bud Light controversy. Man, I remember when those podcasts used to go on for like 5 hours. Anyways, the only time Capital respects opinions is when people boycott shit and it works like the Bud Light thing. And now people are like, don't do that again, Rogan said, alluding to the steep drops in sales of the brand that Mulvaney started, on April 1st. Who controls Bud Lights? That's the question. Who? Oh, Cube was asking that. Who controls them? Well, if you take a look at some of the names in the offices, it might, trigger some bells going off. Why would they make a dumb decision like that? Are they trying to ruin Bud Light? Are they trying to take down some of our most iconic American brands? Oh, it's in a pursuit to the female dollar, okay? If you just go ahead and you figure that out, it's very fucking simple. Denigrate men, prop up women, show them as the superior, and they think that works, when in actuality, women like masculine men as much as men like being those masculine men. But they'll eventually figure it out. Otherwise, a bunch of these companies will just continue to go down. But no, I'm not going to be one of those dorks I'm not going to be like Rogan and say, no, it's all about ESG, bro. Shut up. Just another fucking boogeyman, like saying my deep state. Rogan blamed pressure on corporations to adopt so-called ESG. It's there, it's a real thing, but it doesn't control fucking everything, okay? Adding that Bud Light's actions proved that it was out of touch with regular people. Take a brand like Bud Light, it's for blue collar, drinking people. Are you referring to beer drinkers? Like, okay, fucking woke leftists out there do refer to women as birthing people. But I gotta give it up to the left for a second for coining the term bonus holes. That shit is funny as fuck. And they like to watch football and drink Bud Light. And then all of a sudden you have this mentally ill person who's just an attention whore. Oh my God. Rogan then referred to the viral video of Kid Rock using an assault rifle to shoot cases of Bud Light. Oh my God, one of those big scary black rifles. Once Kid Rock shoots your cans, you've got a real problem. Exactly. And Cube was just thinking, it's like, well, I've been shooting at cans for years and nobody, took those videos and used them. And it's like, well, shouldn't do them in South Central. Rogan's latest salvo came after Mulvaney posted a video to her 1.8 million Instagram followers saying that she felt loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anybody, and nobody at Anheuser Busch reached out. They were too busy trying to put out the $27 billion fire you started, you absolute narcissist. The next day, Anheuser Busch pushed back against Mulvaney's assertion, saying that, yeah, we stand with the gay community. It's just don't expect any big gay sponsorships to prop up anytime soon. Rogan also slammed Bud Light's decision to sponsor the Toronto Pride event, calling it silly. Oh yeah, it was just silly having dudes wave their dicks in front of kids. Just goes to show you how fucking inherently stupid Joe Rogan is. Fucking Christ. Podcaster and Ice Cube then turned their attention towards Target. The retailer also sparked boycotts over the pride-themed merchandise. Why is that so difficult to say? Mostly because, I don't know, when I think about, female bathing suits, I don't want to have to think about big fucking flopping dicks that people need to tuck. Christ all fucking mighty. I think it's an ESG thing. Oh my God, just the fucking brainlet concepts. Oh, he's pissing me off. See, this is why I don't like to do, this is what Joe Rogan's talking about. And that's probably also why the media is kind of like, well, you just go ahead and you go on that little green platform and talk about your stupid conspiracy theories, you bald fuck. Because people are sick of this shit. They're sick of those social things that are controversial getting stuffed into your face. Well, yeah, it's so nice that these midwits are finally catching up to shit that people were noticing all the way back. Some people, got hip to the political correctness shit all the way back in the 90s. I know I got woken up to it on and around, the 2010s, which, yeah, okay, I was a little bit of a late adopter, but now we're finally seeing people turn around and go, oh my God, it's really bad what's out here. You guys realize that? And it's like, yeah, thanks for finally fucking catching up. Same people that think that, wow, hey guys, did you know that the Republicans and the Democrats, they're like kind of the exact same thing. Good stuff. Glad you could finally show up and finally put 2 and 2 together. But that's where we're getting here. You can see that, just check the previous video when it comes to breaking down what is going on with the box office with Indiana Jones 5. It's becoming so overt, the agenda, where just your normal rank and file person is just looking at that going, ugh, there's alternatives that's out there. I'll just wait. If I want to go to the theaters, I'll just wait for a good action film. A couple weeks time, I'll be able to go down and I'll check out Mission Impossible 7. At least Tom Cruise appreciates me when I turn out to the theater. And with Target, well, fuck it. If you guys just want to go ahead and you want to go dick deep into that pride shit, let's go shop at Walmart. Go do my grocery shopping at Publix or whatever the equivalent, Piggly Wiggly in the northwest or northeast. And then with Bud Light, because there is such a litany of middlingly priced donkey piss that passes as some sort of, libation to make you forget that you fuck a fat wife and you have a go nowhere job because you just decided to not apply yourself in life. That's why these boycotts are successful, because people we've finally gotten to a point in time where they've also noticed, the people that are building up the alternatives, they seen the writing on the wall a long time ago. They finally gotten to a point where now they can finally put all of their thoughts into practice, put it out there for mass consumption, and then everybody else who's waking up can just go, yeah, no, easy alternative that's out there. Because you can always, and the best way to turn a buck is to just prey on people's need to seek the easiest option that will make them happy. The path of least resistance is in fact a human constant, but chances are if you're watching programming like this, you are well ahead of the curve. You already knew exactly what time it is, and you already know that as much doom and gloom is being pushed out there by mass media, by brainlets that just think that it's all my big shadowy cabal controlling everything at the top. There's more than sufficient light at the end of this tunnel, and we're getting real fucking close to the end of this stuff. Is it going to get worse before it gets better? Yeah, maybe, but I think we've probably crested the top of that wokeness peak, so enjoy the decline and then enjoy the recovery. It's only a few years away, I bet. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.